Still in Chapter 7, National Income Uses and Problems. There are 9 uses of national income. 1. To assist in national planning. The data of national income provides an insight into the strengths and weaknesses of an economy. Based on the information provided by National Income Statistics, the government can make planning for the future. For example, if the government has identified that the agricultural sector needs to be stimulated, it will then design some measures to achieve this objective. 2. To identify sectoral contribution. From the values of output produced by each economic sector, the government can identify the relative importance of each sector to the economy by looking at the percentage of output produced by the sectors. Therefore, we can find out which sector is the biggest contributor and therefore most important to the economy. 3. To compare over time. National income estimates are given to measure the performance of an economy over time by comparing the national income of one time period to that of another. The national income tells us whether the economic performance of a nation is growing, stagnant, or declining. Luckily for us in Malaysia, the national income has been steadily improving over time. Usually, economists use the real GDP figures to compare the economic performance in a country. For example, we can compare the real GDP in 2018 with that for 2019 and see whether or not there has been an improvement. The real rate of economic growth can be calculated using the formula of real GDP in year 1 minus real GDP in year 0 divided by real GDP in year 0 times 100. Remember, year 1 refers to the current year, whereas year 0 refers to the previous year. 4. To compare wealth between countries. The wealth of different countries can be compared using national income statistics. We can do this by comparing the per capita GDP of each nation, which is found by dividing the GDP by the population. Per capita GDP is a good measure of a country's wealth because it reveals the true standard of living of individual and household. 5. To measure the rate of growth of the country. National income data can also be used to calculate the rate of economic growth in a country. By this way, we can assess whether the economy of our country is progressing, stagnant, or regressing. 6. National expenditure. National income statistics are an important tool in macroeconomic policy and analysis. National income estimates are the most comprehensive measures of aggregate economic activity in an economy. With national income estimates, national income shows us how national expenditure is divided between consumption expenditure and investment expenditure. National income provides information for reasonable depreciation to maintain capital stock. Future economic policies for development of a nation therefore can be formulated. 7. Public sector. National income contains the figures of consumption, saving, investment, import and export. These figures enable us to know the relative performance of both the public and private sectors in the economy. The pattern of expenditure can tell us the type of economic system the country is practicing. If most of the activities are performed by the state, we can conclude that the public sector is playing a dominant role in a centrally planned economy. A. Distribution of income. The wealth of a country may belong to only a small number of very rich people, and so a high national income can conceal widespread poverty. Living standards within a society depend partly on how wealth and income are shared among the people. It is therefore important for the government to ensure that the income distribution of the country is not depleted and it can be enjoyed by everybody equally. 9. To measure standard of living. National income, as known as Gross Domestic Product (GDP), is the money value of total goods and services produced within a country over a 12-month period. This annual figure is very helpful to the economists to track the economic growth rate, average living standard in one country, as well as the distribution of income between different groups of population. Three major components of national income accounts are output, spending expenditure, and income, which respectively represent three methods of measuring GDP. Generally speaking, GDP can be regarded as an indicator to measure the size of its economy. From GDP, the government of Malaysia can know the standard of living of its people by how many are there in the B40 group, M40 group, and T20 group.